Welcome to another episode of Have Game Will Travel. I'm your host, Bennett Newsome, also known as Damn It Bennett out in the gaming community. But as the Director of Esports Growth and Development here at Full Sail University, I'm super passionate about exploring the diverse world of esports beyond gaming and skill levels. So whether this is your first time listener or you're just a returning fan to the show, we're thrilled to have you here as this virtual journey through the experiences of industry professionals. So get ready to engage with our guests and learn from their perspectives. And remember to submit your questions in chat. We'll get them featured on the show. But sit back, enjoy the ride, and let's kick off another episode of Have Game Will Travel. This happens to be our 50th episode ever, and a little bit of a twist. My good friend Bec Godsey is here to bring it home. So let's jump in. Bec, welcome to the show, man.
What's going on? Congratulations, Bennett. Seriously, big 5-0. Do you feel ancient now?
I do. It is a little crazy. You know, we've been doing this for a couple years now, and hitting 50 is a pretty cool milestone, and ready for more. So this is exciting. Thank you for being here.
Of course. I'm so excited. When you sent over the message, I was like, oh, this could be really fun. And of course, both being podcasters, right? Being on this space, we know the time and effort. And I'm so glad that you allow me to celebrate this with you because it puts in a lot of energy, but more importantly, heart into
Yeah.
what we create. And so I feel like I have a unique angle into your world and what you've been doing. And I love that I get to be like the Gandalf of the conversation today.
It's awesome. It's awesome. And you have quite a bit of experience in this. I would love for you to tell people what you do. And you have a long list of things on your resume. So I feel like you get to brag about yourself a little bit here, too. So go for it.
Well, thank you. Yes, so during the day, I'm over at Full Sail University in the Game Business and Esports program, teaching the project and portfolio one by class. And by night, instead of sleeping or having time to hang out with friends and whatnot and being a normal person, I also stream. I work with the gamers and doing their podcast with Pink Pixels, in which I was really excited in 2024. I was Podcaster of the Year, which was
Yes, you
thrilling.
were.
And I do a lot of other variety of things, whether it's doing production like with T-Pain or D&D and other tabletop role-playing games, hosting anything and everything because I just like to say yes to
Yeah.
projects.
I love it. I love it. Well, I am passing the reins of the show to you. So you are now in charge.
Yes. So congratulations, Bennett. So here we are on Have Game Will Travel. Let me wind us back a little bit to the beginning because yes, we are now here at 50 and it's great to see this full production, you and your full glory and beard, right? Also taking up this full screen. It's gorgeous. It's full. But what was it like when we were all the way back in episode 1? I want us to turn back time. What was it like when you're like, let's do this idea, bring it to the table, let's stream it through
Yeah.
the Full Sail Armada? What was the birthing like there?
It was a really fun idea. Something that I had in my mind for a while of like, I would love to interview the leaders out in the industry, people that are doing really cool things that sometimes don't, get a lot of press, or more importantly, that there's so many more things to the world of esports than, just competing in the game and just being good at the game. And I think that was kind of the mantra for a long time, was to try and, focus on the opportunities that existed in the space versus just what everyone always sees, right? It was like this player or this, league that was doing really cool things. Let's talk about the people behind the scenes. And much like obviously things at Full Sail, a lot of what we do is all behind the scenes. And, they're kind of the unsung heroes a lot of times, but they make the show happen. And that was really the focus, that we wanted to dive into, was just that there's so many cool things happening in esports, whether that's professional, collegiate, youth, and scholastic. Like, there's just so many cool things happening. Let's talk about them. Let's showcase those things. And that's really what I came to Sari with, and I said, hey, I've got this idea. This is what I want to do. And and all great things that Sari does, she was like, go for it, do it. Let's make it happen. And
Isn't
sure
she a
enough,
great supporter?
yeah,
says
she is
yes
the
to
best
so many
supporter.
things, too.
Literally. So it was really cool to see, this start and really kind of take to the next level.
I love that. what it really sounds like is that you saw this spotlight on the esports space and you're like, let's widen this. Let's share more people, more voices. And it's such an educational experience. Makes sense since you're aligning with Full Sail University on this. Why Full Sail University, right? You are a very talented individual and you have found a really wonderful home here with Full Sail. What is it like to say, like, this is such a good match?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that, you know, first and foremost, I've been at Full Sail almost over 18 years now, which is
Ooh.
insane to even think about and say. Um, but I've always looked at Full Sail really differently because it's such an interesting place, and you really see students that are so passionate about what they're studying and what they're wanting to go into, and that was part of the drive for me even to want to work at Full Sail was meeting all these different people that were working at Full Sail that had that student's journey in mind, that had that student's passion in mind, and it just really felt like home. So for me, that was something that I really wanted to, be a part of that. And 18 years later, it's kind of crazy to think that I've had a lot of opportunity. I started in admissions to student support, and then esports came along, and here we are. So that for me was a huge opportunity.
Well, you've grown beautifully in it, and every opportunity that has come your way, you have done so much good work. I love that you described it as a home. And I think it's kind of interesting that it's been a home for you, but in turn, you've done so much to make it a home for students. The college level is really interesting to me, right? It's the first time that many individuals are kind of branching out. They're trying to make a home of their own outside of perhaps the home that they had with their parents, right?
Yeah.
And it can be a very different or isolating experience. And even for those who have been out of like their parents' home for a hot minute, it's a new stage of their life. And it's so important to find that connection. For you, what has it been like to build that kind of home with students here at Full Sail University, whether it's with the production side, the esports, opening up opportunities and conversations like you have here on this podcast?
Yeah, it's one of the best parts I think of the job is that um, you know being able to watch students come in day one, and they're very nervous. It's not like a
Sweating,
bad
little
thing.
shaky.
Yeah, they're very nervous that this is a new experience, and maybe they're stepping outside of the box a little bit, but it's really cool to see that like evolution of what they do when they first get here to then walk across that stage at graduation, and being able to be part of that journey. I always say that we vicariously live through the success of our students and our graduates, and it's really the truth. Seeing what students go on to do, and sometimes it's the ebb and flow of their career, the highs and the lows, but it's all part of that journey. And so being able to help kind of usher students through that is has always been a really important part, I think, from my perspective. For years, talking to students on the phone about what they wanted to do, and then obviously going along the journey with them, checking in on them, and seeing how they were progressing through their programs, the good, the bad. These are people's lives, right? Like they this is a 2-year program, potentially, if they're going for the bachelor's, and that's something that you get to know people really well, and those opportunities for them to continue the growth, and anything that I could do to try to help that was always such a rewarding experience. So especially when we moved into the esports world, that in itself was just something that, being able to watch students that didn't think that this was something that they could do, and then do it, especially from some of our casters, and the events that they've worked on. I mean, it's just been a really fun time to watch people grow.
Well, isn't this just like a beautiful collision of your interests, right? I love the way you detailed like seeing the student experience, humanizing, seeing the ups and downs, and being invested every single step of the way. But also, right outside of like some of the admissions and other work that you've been doing, you've also been streaming on your own as well. You're an established content creator, and so to bring these together into esports, into the title you have now, what was it like to say like, oh, they merged?
Yeah.
Was it this excitement? Was this like, oh, this is now everything all together at once, right? The
Yeah.
snowball that has now evolved into an avalanche that you've created.
Yeah, it that was honestly probably the coolest thing about all of this is I played music for about 20 years from
Mhm.
late middle school till later in my life, and the moment that
The
I
guitars
stopped.
in your background aren't just for show.
Yeah, right, exactly, right. That's the funny part is that was what initially brought me to Full Sail was music, right? And eventually, I just kind of was like, I'm done. I think I'm done with that. And that just happened to be around the same time that I discovered Twitch, and that part was like, oh, there's this cool thing that I really like doing, and we're gonna continue to check that out. And so I dove into Twitch, and it kept it completely separate from Full Sail, and started progressing and started building a community. And I was like, this is awesome. I love this. It has a lot of the same, things that, playing music and being on stage and performing did. But it was all just me. I was responsible for whatever was happening. And that growth continued, and we got some really awesome breaks from some other great creators out in the community, and eventually I joined an esports team as a content creator, and that was kind of the real first big kind of like, okay, there's a lot of things happening here. Like I'm starting to pay attention to this. And just around that time, Full Sail started to do more esports things. They were getting ready to launch a program, and my name apparently kept coming up in some meetings. And I had a meeting with Sari, and I thought she just wanted to like get advice from me. We went to Chili's, we were having
Oh, you
lunch.
thought it was like a one-time conversation.
Yeah, it's like, oh, what do you think about this thing? And Jacob was there, and so we're having this great conversation, and we're like, we all know
You
each
didn't
other.
realize Sari doesn't let good people go.
Exactly. And so at the end of that lunch, I was just giving my advice of what I thought was happening with the space and all of this. And she goes, oh, well, so do you want the job? And I was like, wait, this is an interview? Like what? Like I didn't even have a clue. And I was like, of course, yes, absolutely. So it was a really fun time, and that, from that moment, I started working 2 jobs, essentially 3 if you continue the stream, counting the stream. But I was in the morning, I'd work in student support, in student. I'm blanking on my old title. I'm sorry, but I would work there for about 5 or 6 hours, and then I would go and do esports stuff in the afternoon. And it was a pretty interesting journey. But we got here, and obviously now esports has completely taken over my life, which is great. But it was really cool. The idea of those worlds like merging together, and the fact that I still stream every day. Every morning, that's how I start my morning. We have a great community on Twitch, and we get to play games and have fun and do really cool things. And then I get to go and work at Full Sail and like do the Full Sail stuff. And so like the aspect of those things happening together and being one, and meeting all these different people in this industry is like a huge thing when it all comes together. And so that merge was like literally the dream job, and like I'm so grateful for that, and blessed that I have and I'm able to do this, which is really fun. So it's been a fun journey so far, and obviously excited for the future of where it goes.
I hope so. This is just phenomenal to hear you talk about what you're doing and to see the growth. And it doesn't come from like accident, Sari didn't just say like, this is a gift, right? Even though she's incredibly kind in those situations, but it's something that you develop the skills for over time. And as you continue to invest in who you were and what you were interested in, it really seems like this was the perfect next natural step for you to take.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been fun. I mean, and I feel like I've grown in a lot of different ways because of this role, and the opportunity to meet a ton of amazing people along the way that have helped, elevate our program and what we're doing. And also then watching and learning. And I think that's probably the most important part. I think it's something that Full Sail does so great is you're not only just learning the skills of a specific program, you're learning how to learn in this environment, right? And that's something that I've always taken very seriously from Full Sail was like, you have to keep learning. And I think that applies to streaming and content creation and esports and anything that you're really wanting to do and do well, is that you have to keep evolving. And so, I've been lucky enough to be around great leaders and see, where the trajectory of this stuff is going, and be able to follow along and then make those changes and adapt to those things in my personal stuff. Right. And, be successful in those areas as well. And that's really the best and fun part about all of it, is that it all kind of works together.
I want to pick your brain on something. You said a word, right? Be successful. And in the education space, there's a lot of guiding that we do to our students. And the biggest challenge is for them to learn what is success to them. And for you, what is success to you, especially with this podcast that you've been doing, this evolution of your career for you in your professional life? How have you defined success?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for me,
Thank you. I've done this.
yeah, this is not your first rodeo, right? Like, for me, success though, it's never it's a moving target, right? Like, there's more. I look at it more in the form of like goals of where I want to be and things that I want to complete. Before this, like, oh, this is it. I'm here now. Like we've done it. We don't have to do anything anymore because we made it, right? Like, and I don't think that's how it is or would ever be. For me, it's always kind of hey, this is a thing that I want to accomplish, right? I want to be able to, stream in the morning, and I want to be able to do these different things, right? Like, and setting those little goals and more honestly, like attainable goals, right? Have been really helpful for me, to define my success, right? Or to define what success meant to me. And so when, you start to do those things and you make these more obtainable goals, you get those wins a lot more often than this long-term thing, which obviously having a long-term goal is very important. You want those types of things, but from a success, if you're always chasing after this thing that's 3, 5, 10 years away, it's hard to keep that momentum, keep that energy, keep that drive going when you haven't had a win in a long time. And so for me, it's always been about some small, smaller goals and paths that I can go, okay, I'm going to hit this, and then this is what we do from there. That part for me has been, I think, really helpful. And that's something that I didn't do from the beginning. This is something that I had to take some time and learn over the years, that this was an important part of it, right? Like, I needed to make sure that, these areas were set. And I think I attribute a lot to that, to my dad. Like growing up, he wanted me to be very scheduled, and this was so important to be organized and all. And I was like, yeah, Dad, no, thank you. And
That's for you.
yeah, years. I'm sure he's laughing hearing this now, but years later, it's really changed. And it's like, I wish I would have done that sooner, because those are things that obviously have had a huge impact, and really have made things a lot better in the long run.
You're going to get a text after this episode that says, "I told you so."
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, my teacher brain though is like dinging off, like, yes. When you say, like, making it attainable, having good timelines, I'm like, they're SMART goals. Yes. Because even though you're right, like, and I appreciate you sharing this process, like this, it took you a while to learn it. And there's so many times, like, we'll hear things, but we're not primed for it. And I think that's what will help, right? That helps you in this education space, is that you saw your own learning path and being open to still learning, that allows you to connect and engage in that same degree of understanding where students are at this stage too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it goes back to what I was saying before. Like, this is a journey. Like, you're learning, right? You always have to be learning. You always have to be kind of evolving, especially in this space, esports and content creation, because it changes weekly, and sometimes even faster than that. And there's a new thing that came out. Now you got to pay attention to that. You got to be knowledgeable about that. And like, okay,
we're on a new platform now.
yeah. There's exactly. There's all these new things, and obviously you're not going to be able to know every single thing out there, but paying attention to those things is super important.
Well, you've done a lot to share that knowledge, that connection with students, and there's a lot of clear evidence of how good you are at this. In fact, we have a couple of students who have been so kind to want to participate in today's episode. They've recorded a few questions, but my favorite part is not only the great questions they ask, but also a little bit about how they know you. The more windows into Damn It Bennett's life. So let's kick over to Quinn's, because I think Quinn has a nice little fun start for us.
I do too. Let's go. All right, here is Quinn.
Hi everyone, my name is Quinn, better known as Colorblind. I'm an esports broadcaster and Full Sail Armada graduate, and Bennett's one of the largest reasons why I'm able to do what I love to the degree that I do it. But Bennett, there's always one thing that's held me back on my broadcasts. I need that beard routine, man. I'm always looking a little scraggly on my cast. I mean, you can even see it growing a little scraggly and weird right now. So on the show, here and now, the definitive Damn It Bennett beard routine. How do you keep it looking so immaculate? I need to know right now. Love you, man.
All right, the question is clear. You've been on stream for 50 episodes with this show. Beard always looks fantastic. What's your secret routine?
I could probably do a whole episode on just the beard alone. Yeah. But, for the cliff notes of this, very important to wash the beard, okay? I know that sounds crazy, but wash, condition, do both of those things. Very, very important. I swear to God, it's the most important part of it. Wash the beard. Yeah. Obviously, that is something that you. Also, if it is long enough, blow drying it. Sounds kind of crazy, but definitely important. I don't use too much like beard product or anything. This is pretty much all natural. Occasionally, the beard butter is always
bragging.
I know, right?
It's just natural. I don't have to do much.
I woke up like this, but every now and then there's some product in there, but only on the fancy days we get the product. But
is today a fancy day? I have to ask.
Today,
your 50th episode.
No, it's not. This is yeah. I mean, we blew dry it. Took a shower, washed it, did all the things. We made it look nice. So. But that's the secret. No supplements or anything like that. Just good old natural laziness and not ever wanting to shave. So that's a big part of it.
Well, laziness may work for your beard, but I think this is a great launching point of not just your wonderful beard, but like this overall stream. And let's be honest, sometimes when we're in the education space, we do have to talk about a lot of things like hygiene in general, right? Of like, hey, you need to look presentable. Yes. What has it been like to evolve the visual look of yourself and this podcast over 50 episodes?
Yeah, I think that part of this, the evolution of this is we've have a great team. At Full Sail that helps support all of this. There's a lot that goes into every show. Not only is it finding a guest, making sure they're available, figuring out the time that they can come. Then it's writing questions, and then passing it off to a friend named Greg who works in Platinum Creative, who looks at the questions that I've written and says, "Hey, these are good, these are bad. Maybe try these," and goes through that. And so that goes through a whole other person, and then eventually comes back to me. I give a big shout out to my project manager, Leilani, who deals with me all the time and says, "Hey, you need to book a guest already. Let's go." So she works very hard and takes care of me, which is awesome. And then obviously Austin with all of the graphics and making this look very, very high quality show. Shout out to Austin for all of that, because again, this would just be two people talking without all this fancy stuff, and if it wasn't for Austin. So mad shout out there for sure. But it takes a village. Obviously, I get to be the face of it, which is a lot of fun, and the evolution of that has really been fun to watch. We have a couple playlists, one on YouTube on the main Full Sail YouTube channel, and then obviously here on Twitch. That have every episode, and you can watch from the very first one and all the way to today and beyond, I guess. which is really fun. So that's definitely going to be a big part of the future of the show.
I feel like it's now ready, since we've hit the 50th episode, that we get a docu-series on like how it's made.
Yeah.
Right? Let's interview everyone, like all these amazing individuals that you shouted out. Let's see the process. All right, pull back the curtains. You've been shining it externally on so many amazing people. Maybe bringing it internally might be a good next step for 2025.
I like that. I like the little behind the scenes. Leilani
Yeah.
will be like, dude, he has not submitted his questions yet. Like, let's go.
Do it office style, where she's just sitting there like, I'm in waiting. I
Yep.
sent her an email today. No. but it's kind of fun to talk about this and what you've been creating and the process, because I think some people think, oh, this is so easy. You just turn on the camera and you just interview them. No prep is needed, right? You one and done it sort of thing. But there is a lot of consideration to make sure you put on a really great episode every single time. For you, where does your pride come from the most with a podcast like this?
I think for me, when it's kind of the off the screen thing, which is almost, honestly kind of a little selfish, but after the episodes, I usually have a good conversation with the guests, and sometimes that conversation lasts like another hour, and we're chatting, we're talking about different things, and like, oh, we're gonna do this, oh, we should do this, oh, and like
there's another secret conversation
there is, which I feel like now is the time to say that maybe we're gonna have some repeat visits from guests that have been on the show before, and then we'll bring them back for round 2, because the conversation a lot of times continues after the show is over, and we get to have some more conversations, and I think that's been a really fun part for me, is not only to get to know the people that I'm interviewing, but become friends with them and have it be a bigger relationship than, hey, come do the podcast and then, okay, see you later. Like, thanks for coming. It's more about the building the relationship, I think, that I've really been, interested in and find a lot of joy in building that network of other people, because, it's so funny how small this industry really is. And, oh, I was watching there. Someone said, oh, I was watching your show because this person was on, and then you hit me up about being on it. So I was really excited to be on the show because I knew about it from this person, and like I had no clue that they were watching. I didn't know that they knew this thing. So like when those types of things happen, it's been a really cool, kind of part of the journey is to build those relationships and continue, growing the podcast.
Honestly, that is a perfect transition to our next student question, because you have really grown this out. It's become something that you've built, not just, yes, episodes and content for, but meaningful conversations, relationships, not just with you, but also with the university and alumni to students. This has been an important bridge. So let's go ahead and bring in Brian and his video, because I think this is kind of fun. And he has a nice little conversation talking about you.
I like it. Let's check it out.
Hey, Bennett, 50th show, man. It's awesome. Brian here, whatever you want to call me, helped me get my start in the Armada, and you helped me with a lot of stuff through the esports world, and I owe a lot of my success in my career to you. So thank you so much for that, and congratulations on number 50, man. That's awesome. I was told one question and an interesting story. I do have a question for you. When you first started off with the Full Sail Armada, did you really expect it to go as far as it did? You being the director of esports. I always kind of wondered that, like, when you first got into the Armada, like, much with me, I just expected it to be mainly a kind of like a hobbyist type of thing, but it turned into a full-time gig for me for a little bit as a student. And one fun story. What's a fun story with Mr. Benito Swagalini?
Oh.
I have to say, it was a fireside chat. You had me hook, line, and sinker when you gave me that the scholarship. I completely was bamboozled. I was a ruse. I was led astray when you had that fireside chat, and you all the while it was to give me a scholarship, and all I could remember was just the amount of time and effort that you helped me put into the Armada, making the show a lot better, and helping me with my energy and my enthusiasm, all the encouragement that you gave me, and a lot of the other casters too. You're really a cornerstone when it comes to the Full Sail Armada. You have your pillars of anything that is built up from the ground level, and you're definitely the backbone of the Full Sail Armada. And I just can't thank you enough, man, for everything that you've done for me, everything that you've done for the Full Sail Armada. I don't know where I'd be without Bennett Newsome, without, damn it, Bennett. No, I really appreciate everything that you've done for me, Bennett. So thank you so much. Hope you have a great 50th show, and stay in touch, man.
That is so darling. And I love that he pairs that question with that story.
Yeah.
Right? Because what an amazing and positive impact you've had on his life. And it's such a copycat experience of what other students have had with you as well, being so positive, being so supportive, being so growth oriented for them, and also celebratory, right?
Yeah.
But on your take, right, for you, obviously we're hearing it from Brian and the student's perspective. What is it like for you to be the one who provides this?
Yeah, it's it's a great feeling to hear that, obviously. And
Don't cry.
no, I'm trying
Okay.
trying not to. I think I think one thing that as an instructor at Full Sail, it's always about trying to give your all and try to provide opportunity to the next generation of leaders. And being able to work with some of these students in that capacity has been huge. It's been very fulfilling on this, and so to be called a cornerstone of that is huge. And again, I can't stand alone here. There's so many great people that are a part of Armada and Full Sail and what supports esports, that I'm lucky that I get to kind of be the face of it sometimes. And so that's a huge honor, but it's not an individual thing. There's so many people that go into making this a reality. And to answer Brian's question about being where we are today from where we started, I've always had a lot of faith in the opportunity, but I also think that it's what you make of it. And I think that the people around me and that I get to work with every day have really made it to be what it is. And I think we're continuing to strive and shoot high for success. And so far we've been pretty successful in that. And so it's really exciting to see the future. And I'm getting ready to fly to Ohio to the Scholastic Esports Awards to hopefully maybe bring home an award, an esports award for Full Sail Armada. So we'll have to wait and see the next week how that works. But it is really cool to see where it's come, and thinking back to that first conversation with Sari and Jacob and what happened right after that and the different things that we're doing, and then just the evolution of it. It's been a really fun journey, and I'm really proud that we're making it to something that people want to be a part of. So and that fireside chat. Unfortunately, every now and then I have to tell a little bit of a lie to try to keep things secret, because how am I gonna tell this guy, hey, we're gonna have a fireside chat about casting and an event coming up, but we're gonna stream it on Twitch, and then we're gonna surprise you with a scholarship, and so I had to fib a little bit, but I think it was for a good cause, and it worked out.
The 50th episode is the one to have all the confessions, so everyone knows now Bennett is a liar.
Oh, wow.
We'll just put that.
Oh, man.
But here's where I also think you're just a little bit of a liar as well, is that earlier you said pretty successful, which I think is a very humble and not a fair take because it is very successful.
Very
right?
successful.
A lot of other universities look at what you all have been doing at Armada and go, that's what we want. We want that same energy. We want that same success. How do we do it? And Armada has gotten awards before, right?
Yeah.
Like this, I mean, high hopes also for Ohio, right? But it wouldn't be the first time. And I have no doubt that it's not, it's definitely not going to be the last time.
Yeah.
So very successful. So stop lying.
Okay.
Bennett.
Okay.
This is
I am
actually
sorry.
an
Very
intervention
successful.
episode for you. But it shows, right? When I hear you say things like pretty successful, in my brain, I interpret it as you thinking you have more ideas of growth for this. You want to see more success. You're not content with what you all have been doing here yet. And I want to know, like, it's exciting, and I want to eventually get to like what you want to see in the future. But for now, what was it like to try to convince the rest of the university of saying, let me tell you about esports. Let me tell you about this vision of Armada. Let me tell you about this podcast. Like how easy it is to get not just like just the platinum team on board, but how did you get everybody else on board with this vision?
The funny thing is I didn't really have to. And that is a very lucky.
Why does this feel like your beard answer?
No, I swear. We are very blessed and lucky to have the buy-in from the top at Full Sail, because that is not something that every school has. I would say we are in like the 2% of schools that people like the top. And no, this is, yes, we are doing this 100% buy-in. Full Sail is very. I've always kind of said like they have their finger on the pulse, right, of what's happening in entertainment and media. And if you think back to like 2010, 11, 12-ish, we were a title sponsor of MLG, which at the time was everything. Like from competitive gaming, didn't even call it esports. It was competitive gaming, right? And we hosted a lot of those tournaments on our campus, right? Like we had some of the greats right here on Full Sail's campus in the live venue. And that is huge. That was a huge thing. Those were the first kind of esports events that I went to, was right here at Full Sail. And then later I went and traveled with admissions to Ohio, which is funny, for the 2013 MLG Columbus, Ohio, finals or whatever they were doing. And it was great. And I got to meet so many people. Puckett was one of the first people I met in esports, and was the nicest dude ever. And that created a great friendship along the way, which was really cool. But like the idea that Full Sail was already in on this back then was huge. And, at that point they were like, they're seeing that, a lot of people that were doing the big tours around the country with music have started to do these gaming events now. And let's pay attention to that, because that's a new career field for people to go into. And so they were already on top of it. And then as things continued to progress, 2017, we joined NACE. We were one of, I don't know, like the first 100 schools or something like that. I forget the specific number, but I mean, there wasn't that many colleges yet a part of this. And now there's a huge number, which is absolutely insane, right? And so, I think that for us, we've been very lucky that we've had this buy-in, and we understand that is not normal for most schools, which I think has helped us kind of try to branch out and reach out to other schools. A lot of my job and what I get to do with Jacob is helping other schools kind of work through this and getting them started. It started at first with other colleges, and then it turned into high schools, and then it has turned into middle schools now, and then other organizations like the YMCA, and so we're working with a lot of different people and trying to just help elevate what they're doing and get them started into a program. And so that's been really cool. And so, like I said, I think we're very lucky that we've had this buy-in, and we've had people at the top saying, hey, no, this is a thing. We're paying attention. We're going in. We're 100% in. Go keep doing what you're doing. And, we plan to. That's the best part, is that we can continue to really try to be even more successful than we are.
I love that. And that doesn't come easy. Sure, maybe the yeses have come easy, right? And that's a great thing. But then the hard part comes of, okay, now we got to do it.
Yeah.
Right now we got to put hours into it. What has it been like to actually put the time into putting in the hours? Because everybody wants to be an idea person. Oh, let's host this. Let's just do this show. But it's another thing to actually get it done.
Yes. That's the great point, is that everybody is the idea guy, right? Like you can talk and brainstorm and be creative all day, but it's about the execution, right? That's what it comes down to. And, when you do have a good idea and then you can take that to the next stage and actually start to implement it, that's a huge win. And those are the people that when we start talking about careers and after you've graduated and you're going off and doing things, if you're implementing things and you're executing them, that's huge. Having good ideas is great, but everybody does. Like, everybody's got a good idea, just whether or not they can make it happen. And so I think that has been a big part of it for us, is that we've been able to execute things that we're trying to do. And again, I think that goes down to, not only our leadership in Sari Keitlin, but also, the team that we have that, here at Full Sail that is really, trying to continue to build on what we have, the foundation. We're lucky that our foundation is strong. And so we just want to keep building and elevating and trying new things and, seeing what happens.
I love that. So much has happened at Full Sail. I'm wondering now when the Museum of Esports will be opened on campus. I feel like there's enough history there that we could begin that. There's another idea for you, Bennett. Go ahead.
I like it. Hey, you know what? We will. Hold on to that thought. Maybe we'll bring you something in the near future. We'll see.
Yeah. Now, I want to pivot because you've been doing a lot of hours into this, but Mia has another question about hours in. So let's go ahead and bring in Mia Mouse.
Sounds good.
Bennett, hi, it's Mia, aka Mia Mouse, aka one of your favorite students that graduated Full Sail University. Happy 5-0. It's amazing. 50 episodes is absolutely awesome. I know Bennett because I went to Full Sail University. I was a part of Armada as broadcast talent, did all the hosting and the casting and the interviewing and all that fun stuff. And Bennett helped me every inch of the way, introduced me to really cool people. I got to work with Dr. Lupo because of Bennett, so I thought that was really cool. And one little funny story I'm going to talk about that I wasn't ever going to tell Bennett or Sari or Jacob or anyone because it's embarrassing. I called Bennett Jacob for the first 4 months of knowing Bennett. And it's because I got confused because both of them have beards. For anyone who doesn't know, Jacob is Bennett's friend who also has a beard. I have 2 questions for Bennett. Sorry, I'm rambling really quickly. I'm trying to get this under 2 minutes. First question is going to be, what is your dream collaboration, whether it be with a content creator, someone in esports, or someone that you just admire? Who is that dream collaboration for you? And then a secondary, not so serious question is going to be, what game do you think that you could play for 50 hours straight? You could sleep and eat. You can't leave your computer unless you're sleeping. What game are you choosing? Okay, happy 50. Mwah. Peace out.
2 good questions. 2 good questions.
2 good questions.
Let's rapid fire this.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay. First off, I know Jacob's going to love that story, which is great.
One day you have to actually both dress the exact same way, too.
Unfortunately, it's happened on multiple occasions. But anyways, 2 good questions. Great. First and foremost, ultimate collaboration. If you know me, you know I'm a huge 100 Thieves fan. So I'd have to go with that. I would love to do some sort of collaboration, whether that be through Damn It Bennett or Full Sail Armada. I'll always open to those opportunities for sure. And then for gaming, there's so many games that I have well over 50 hours in as a gamer and streamer, right? So it's hard. One session, one go.
Yeah.
That is a challenging one because I think it is easy to get burned out in a lot of these things. But I will say that the game that I currently stream, which is called Gray Zone Warfare, has my heart. I love this game. I'm absolutely behind it. I really think This game has the potential. It's currently in early access. It's in pre-alpha, but it is a lot of fun, and it's only getting better. And they actually put me in the game, which is kind of crazy. So that's a neat little thing for that. But
that's a little extra. There's good reason then for you to want that.
Yeah, I can play this for 50 hours, no problem. So it's pretty cool thing. But absolutely big fan of that game, and obviously, hey, 100 Thieves, what's up? Like, let's do it.
Yeah, just throw it out there by voicing it. You never know what kind of opportunity is going to come to your doorstep for it. I love Mia's question. I feel like 50 hours is not a lot for a content creator. Now, you've been doing content creation a lot for a while, right?
Yeah.
Years now at this point. For you,
Over a decade.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Let's even talk about it even just on a weekly basis. How many hours do you put into just live streaming? Not into the full content creator job where it also includes editing, marketing, engaging with other individuals, building a community, all of that fun stuff, just to the streaming hours.
Just to the
How many hours
streaming.
a week?
I think it's probably around 15 or 20, give or take.
Okay.
My schedule is in the morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. Friday, I actually do 3 streams. So I do a stream in the morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Then I jump over to another channel. Some people know me from a little website called whereiszer.com, which is a Destiny-themed website focused on our boy Zer, who shows up every Friday. So we do about 2 hours there.
Love old tentacle face.
Yeah, exactly. And we update the website. We do it in real time. It's a lot of fun. And then I jump back onto my channel, usually around like 1:30-ish, 2 o'clock. And then I go till about 6 or 7 on that channel for the rest of the day. And so Friday's like the day of streaming for me, right? That is the big day. And that's a lot of fun. So you get to do a little bit of
streaming, hoarding all of the streams on Friday.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's easy for you to accumulate 50 hours within a month, and that's a lot of time that you've put into it. Why do you keep doing it? What makes you say every day or even multiple times on a Friday to say, let's turn this camera back on, let's get the lights back on, let's make sure we're sitting in this chair and we're talking to people? Why do you do it?
Yeah, staring into these bright lights for hours on end is definitely not like what most people want to do. But I mean, I love games. Like, gaming has been a huge part of my life ever since I was a kid. Even through all those music days, like, gaming was still a huge part of what I did. And so the love for gaming is a big part of it. But I think it's more the love for people. And getting to know and talk to people. I've met people all over the world that I would have never, ever met because of streaming. Friends in Australia, the furthest place you could get from me. You know what I mean? Like, and that's awesome. Like, that's the power of gaming, right? Is that you meet all these cool people all over the place. And, I think the hardest thing about it streaming is you meet all these really cool people and then maybe they just don't show up ever again. Like, you've had great conversations with them and then you're like, where did they go? You never know. And then one day they show up, hey, how's it going? Good to see you again. Holy cow, how are you doing? And it's such a fun time because, again, I think for me, I'm a big relationship person, right? And so being able to meet new people, talk to them, get to know them, and, they are looking at me and they see me and I just see a name in chat and they're talking, so it's an interesting dynamic. But I think for me that interaction has always been the thing that was like, hey, let's keep going. I'm enjoying hanging out with these people every week, weekday morning, and it's been a lot of fun. So
I love that. I love that you've got this commitment. You see the positivity, the brightness that being a streamer really does have to offer. Let's go ahead and tap into sodas then. Brittany, also known as Brittany, has an amazing question. So let's bring her in.
Let's check it out.
Hello, I am Soda. I am formerly the stream team captain of Full Sail Armada, and I'm somebody who considers Bennett to be a mentor figure. When I first met Bennett, I was struggling to figure out how to balance my school life, my work life, and my content creation in a way that allowed me to avoid burnouts in either school life or content creation. And that's something I feel that a lot of people struggle with. Bennett is somebody who constantly cheers the people he cares about on, and he wants to see you do your best and achieve your goals. So ultimately, I feel that he's somebody that you can go to for advice. And that's why my question for Bennett is, what is one piece of advice you would give to streamers and content creators on how to avoid burnout in their everyday lives, their work lives, and their content creation?
Used to haunt content creators, streamers, the albatross that is constantly circling above our heads with every stream we do, every message we send. It is the pressure of keep going, do more, do more, do
Yep.
more until we feel like we are dead. How do you balance this to make sure streaming stays healthy for you, especially knowing this isn't the only thing you do?
Yeah. Stuff. It is a
Just a
challenge.
few things.
It is a challenge. And Brittany's awesome, and you know, like, so she just graduated.
Brittany.
Yeah, like she just is making waves now, which is awesome. But you know, I think the burnout question is real, and it's hard because I know a lot of streamers that aren't streaming anymore, and you know, as supporters as you can be, there's a real aspect to this, and there's some dark places that it can take you. You know, depression is a real thing, and it's tough when you have these people that show up and then they don't show up anymore. Like I was saying earlier, like where'd they go? You're like, is it me? Did I do something wrong? What happened? You know, like it's always like you have to try to stay positive in those things. But I think from a burnout, from the streaming perspective, is you have to know your limits, and you know, it's something that I learned the hard way, and I learned it with Destiny. And for me, I kept playing the game because I felt obligated. I kept playing the game because that was where I got partnered, and this is where I built my community. It was the thing that really was a big part of my even streaming was because of Destiny. And while Destiny provided so many great opportunities in my life and brought me to the places that I am, I just kept doing it. And there was a point when I was like, I should play something else. I should do something else. And then you do, and your numbers go down. You're like, oh, well, I got to go back. And, you know, and you kind of became chained to those numbers and those things. And then you stick around and you keep doing it, and all of a sudden you get a little bitter. And like when those feelings start to show, you have to say, nope, I know my line. I'm going to play something else. And you can't worry about the numbers and all the other things that come along that, and just know that it's better for you and your mental health to actually play something that you're enjoying, or take a break, you know, altogether. Like if this is causing you too much, you know, like maybe we take a little bit of a break. I think the best thing that I ever did around this same time was I kind of blew up my stream. When I first started, I streamed at night. I would come home from work, hang out with my wife for a little bit, have dinner, and then I would jump on the stream, and I would stream till like midnight or 2 a.m. And then I'd get up and I'd do it all over again in the day. And
oh no.
yeah, and it was tough. And after a while of doing that, I was like, I can't do that. I love Destiny, but it was killing me, and I was not happy, and I was not having fun anymore. And people could tell, like not only were the numbers going down, but like it was just people knew that I wasn't really that into the game anymore. You know, so I decided, you know what, I'm going to try something new. I need to change it up completely. And I kind of just blew it up, and I started streaming in the morning instead of at night. I was waking up early, which actually I think has a much better and positive thing than staying up all night.
Ooh, hard to tell that story to students though. Like, just start waking up earlier.
Yeah, I know, right? And you know, it just really it was more impactful because I think that I met a whole new community of people, and some of the old people that were, you know, that would come at night are still here, and they hung out and they're still hanging out, which is awesome. But I think that was a big change, and during that I was able to change the game that I was playing, and I think that was the biggest part of it, was like I was kind of a blank slate, and I got to start over, and now I knew what my limits were. I knew what those lines were, and I knew when I would get near them that I needed to try something different, or I needed to back off, or I needed to play a different game, or I needed to take a break, whatever that may have been. And so that was really powerful for me to learn. And I think you know, sometimes you have to learn by failing at it, right? Like, and by doing the wrong thing, and you know, kind of fail forward, right? Like, and
That can be scary though.
it is, but I think we have to take the scary, the negative things of like failing out of it, because I think I've learned the best things in my life by doing the wrong thing, you know, like, oh, that was not good. I did not like the outcome of that. I'm literally never going to do that again. Right. And so you transition and you change and you take a look at the different avenues that you could go, and you know where some roads lead. Right. And for me, you know, with the burnout conversation, I know now, and I actually enjoy playing Destiny now a lot more than I did before, because I only play it once a week, right? And it's only for like a couple hours, right? And so that is a big change from you know, really putting a ton of time into something that I just wasn't into, and you know, I'm glad that I made the change when I did, because I'll be honest, if I didn't, I probably would not be streaming. I probably would have said, I can't do this anymore. And so, you know, knowing the lines and taking the right steps is super important. And I think that can apply to like all aspects, you know, work. If you're working too much and you're putting way too much time in, and, you know, taking some breaks is obviously a very important thing. You don't want to completely burn yourself out on something that you actually do love, and then you're gonna hate it forever at that point. And you know, it's a tough kind of thing to hone in on, but once you can make those kind of like lines, then it makes it a little bit easier to notice when you get to them and you're able to back up.
That's a lesson. It sounds like the point is being to know thyself and take care of thyself, right? Know who you are, know those boundaries, and be willing to trust and push yourself in those spaces while still listening to yourself. Because you're right? There's so many times you have to evolve, right? Even earlier we had mentioned, like, there's new things happening in the streaming space all the time, and being able to pivot is going to have to happen. You can't just stay with one thing forever, right? Even people who've built themselves on games that are still around and still going strong, right? Like, it's so easy to kind of forget that we're human beings and all this, and not robots.
Yeah, the person on the other side of the screen exists. Like that's a big part, right? Like, you know, and they have a life and feelings and all of those things, and so it's important to be aware of that, right?
Well, at least you've got a really great, healthy approach to this. You've got 50 episodes of this now under your belt. Let's look to the future before we wrap up this stream, right? For you, what is your hopes that you have for this? I know we mentioned 100 Thieves, and yes, 100 Thieves, contact him. It's easy, right? But on top of this, what are you hoping, especially for 2025, right? It's kind of new year, new resolutions, kind of timed up perfectly here. For you, what are those resolutions? What's your hope here at Full Sail?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big question. I obviously for the show, for Full Sail, for the future of all the things, you know, for the show itself, I'm excited to continue. I think we've got some great guests lined up for some future episodes, and I think the more important one is that we're going to be bringing some folks back to see where they are, because people, like everything, they evolve, right? Their careers change, they do different things now. So I think learning and continuing to develop those relationships is super important. From the Full Sail standpoint, you know, there's so much things that we have that we're working on in the new year. Not a lot that we can tell yet, you know, which is exciting.
I was hoping we get a sneak story or something in here, but that's fine.
But we've got some cool things coming up. Obviously, if you know anything about Full Sail, we host the Hall of Fame every year. It's kind of like our big homecoming, if you will, but we induct 6 members of our alumni into our Hall of Fame. These are members that have gone off and done incredible things in the industry, had major impacts on their industry, and we come back, we throw a big party during the week, but to kick off that party, we have this little thing called Hall of Game, which is a really awesome esports event, and I'm so excited to be doing it again this year. So definitely make sure that you keep your eyes peeled for any information on not only Hall of Fame, but also Hall of Game that will be coming, and it's going to be a lot of fun. If you're on campus and you're a campus student, it's absolutely something I would love for you to come and check out and see live in the Full Sail University Orlando Health Fortress. It's going to be an awesome time every year. The team blows it out of the water. So really excited to see what they do this year. But that's a big part, I think, of the future is continuing to evolve what we do at Full Sail, and especially how we approach esports and the opportunities that we get to provide for students. So I'm really excited for that.
I love it. I can't wait. I always tell my online students, if you can only come to Florida once, skip Disney, come for Hall of Fame.
Yes.
That is the week to come. It is such a phenomenal experience. And Hall of Game sets the bar high, kicking us off on Sunday. It is a full day event. So don't worry, you're not like going to come for an hour on campus and that's it. It is excitement from beginning to end. Phenomenal. I'm still pushing for us to have hammocks on campus so that way students can sleep in between events and things. So far, nobody has taken me up on that idea. But plus, they're easier to clean.
There you
this
go.
is me thinking of my Florida mind. But please, yes, I love that you're hyping up because right, Armada gets to be a part of so many things, so many great events, partnerships with many wonderful organizations in the esports space. But selfishly, Hall of Fame and Hall of Game in particular is just the freaking coolest.
Yeah, it is
so
very cool.
come on out for it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be a fun time. I'm really excited for it. And again, I know the team is working really hard to make it a fun time. And if you're a streamer at Full Sail, be on the lookout for the streamer contest. Every year we bring down some streamers to participate on that. So you'll be seeing that in Discord here in hopefully a few.
Yes. Do we know what teams will be competing at Hall of Game?
I do. I don't know if it's common knowledge yet, so I don't want to
Okay,
spoil it. I
fine.
feel like there's a major announcement coming in at some point.
Well, remember, we know
Soon.
you as a liar, so if it turns out it's not true, it won't be any deal. I promise that I'm not going to make that a thing for you. We'll let that die at this episode. But Bennett, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for letting me come to the 50th episode and pick your brain, bring in some amazing guests who also brought in some insights and who you are. I hope you are so immensely proud of what this podcast has accumulated in sense of stories and insights, both for the guests and, of course, for the students who get to tune in and listen to this. And here's to another 50, my friend.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Cheers to you. And first and foremost, thank you for being the host this evening. I think that's really cool. And obviously, we're all big fans of you and everything that you're doing. So thank you for honoring me in all of this and sitting in my seat for the evening.
It's hot. I can't. These were too big of shoes to fill. I guess for gamers, do we just say too big of a gamer chair to fill? Like,
I like that.
I feel like we need our own version.
Yeah, we'll
know.
workshop that. I like it.
Well, yeah. That'll be the post conversation that we don't tell people about.
Right. Exactly. See, now you're on the same page. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for being part of this journey to 50. And here is to 50 more. We're really excited to see what comes next. And we will see you soon. Hopefully we can be bragging about maybe an esports award here next week. But we will see this weekend. So have a fantastic rest of your week. Be safe. Stay warm because it is cold in Florida. I don't know why. But have a great one. We'll see you next time.